Hi everyone, these are my arms, and I'm Matthew. Today we're going to learn what is a symbol, what is a constant, and what is a variable. So let's get started. Definition. A symbol is a name for something. A symbol is a name for anything. I have a pet turtle. And every time I want to talk to someone about my pet turtle, I go into my basement and I grab my pet turtle and I show it to them. Well, this is great until I leave my house. I need to be home to show someone my pet turtle. So all of a sudden, when I'm away, I can't talk about my pet turtle. Then I have an idea. I'm going to draw a picture of my pet turtle. And every time you see this picture, you know that I'm not talking about a picture, but I'm actually talking about my real pet turtle back at home. Therefore, this picture is a symbol for my pet turtle. Let's say I'm lazy though. I'm too lazy to draw a picture. That takes a lot of time. So I write Giggly Guy. And every time you see Giggly Guy, you know I'm not talking about just some squiggles. I'm actually talking about my pet turtle back at home. So this is a symbol for my pet turtle. Now, I'm a mathematician, and mathematicians, I guess, are very lazy. Actually, I think all people are pretty lazy. So I'm just going to write one letter. Whenever you see this weird shape, whenever I draw this weird shape, you know I'm actually talking about my pet turtle. So this is a symbol. For example, let's look at, oh, this looks like math. Maybe you think this is an equation, and it is. And it's made up of symbols. This is a symbol. This is not a 6. This is a symbol, which stands for 6. It stands for the concept of 6, which we know. And every time someone sees this symbol, they know I'm actually talking about 6. And every time someone sees this symbol, they know I'm actually talking about a function which takes in two numbers and returns the sum of both. And every time someone sees this symbol, they know I'm actually talking about the multiplicative identity, 1. And every time someone sees this symbol, they know I'm actually talking about equality. So math is full of symbols. Does a constant have to be a number? Well, let's look at the definition. A constant is a symbol for exactly one value. It doesn't say that it has to be a number. It doesn't say that it has to be an integer. We go by the definition. So, for example, let's say that P, I'm going to designate the symbol P to stand for the sentence, Bill's a person. Now this weird looking symbol stands for exactly one sentence. I'm not using it to stand for anything else. That makes P a constant. What is a variable? Definition. A variable is a symbol, surprise, surprise, for one or more values. That's the only difference between a constant and a variable. A constant is exactly one value. A variable could be more. It doesn't have to be. For example, Okay, what is a constant? Definition. A constant is a symbol for exactly one value. A constant is a symbol which stands for exactly one value. For example, this is a constant. Why? Firstly, it's a symbol. This literal shape that I draw, the literal shape, whenever I see this shape, I know it stands for the concept of 3. Therefore, this shape is a symbol. Now, because this symbol stands for the concept of 3 and not anything else, it stands for exactly one value. So it's a constant. Whenever you see this, you always know that I'm talking about 3. Okay, for example, is this a symbol? It's not yet. But you know what? Let's have the mutual understanding that every time you see this dice, I'm actually talking about my favorite movie, Ocean's 11. Now it's a symbol. This bicycle is a symbol for both 5 and -5. This bicycle is a variable. Oops. So you might be asking, is a constant a variable? Well, let's go back to the definition. A constant is a symbol with exactly one value. Now, is a symbol with exactly one value a symbol with one or more values? Yes, it is. So a constant is actually a type of variable. The thing about a constant is there's only one thing it can stand for. And that's why constants are so unambiguous. I mean, every time I write this, you know exactly what I'm talking about, because there's only one thing it can stand for. So maybe I'll use a star, and I'll put it in some equation. Well, the star is a symbol, and it stands for one or more values. Let's see what value it stands for. So divide both sides by 7. All right, star equals 2 7s. So star actually ended up standing for 2 7s. Star is a variable. Let's look at an example where a variable could take on many values. After all, that's what's special about variables. They can take on many values. For each person in the room, that person is wearing a hat. For each person in the room, that person is wearing a hat. What do you think? What do you think is the variable in this sentence? Person is the variable. So, person is a symbol, and what does it stand for? It actually stands for many values. Person stands for me because I was in the room, and person stands for my friend because he was in the room too. Everyone in the room, it stands for all of them. Okay, now if you're interested, here's a mathematical way to write the same sentence. In math, instead of saying for each, sometimes we use a special symbol. for each. And then, since mathematicians are lazy, I'll just use a P for person. For each person in is an element of the room. So R could be the set of all people in the room. For each person in the room, that person is wearing a hat. W can be the set of all people that wear hats. For each person in the room, that person is wearing a hat. See you next time. This was Matt.